Hello there guys, and welcome back to finally another video. The reason I haven't been posting is, you can probably tell from my voice, the last couple of weeks I've been ill. I've had this shit tickly cough cold that everyone's been getting at the minute. Also, when I'm not feeling up to making a video, I just physically can't. I have to feel really on it and in the mood and passionate to make a video. So I'm a little bit late to talking about some of this, but something is new. But what I want to talk about is the information we've got so far on the 4th Yungblud album, which is supposedly a double album, which is insane. It's gonna be mental getting the new Yungblud record and it being a double album. So it seems like the news outlet that he talks to a lot is NME, which makes sense, because they've supported him pretty much through all his journey as Yungblud. And he spoke to him saying that he's working on a Britpop inspired album, which is great to see, because Youngblood's always had his foot in that Britpop element, even if not directly a theme for the whole of his albums. 21st Century Liability has got a lot of Britpop inspired moments. Beard's even got a few, like with Charity, which literally sounds like a crossbreed between Blur and Oasis. Loner, massive single, very Britpop. Low Life, more recently, very Britpop. Okay, so he's teased that the album is supposed to release in early 2025. When he says early, I think it's gonna be around April, May. More likely to be April, because we've got Bloodfest in June, so May would leave it a little bit late to learn a whole album. Something else that he said about this album is it's a lot along the lines of a rock opera, and is supposed to be played in full. So a bit of a prediction, and something that I have got mixed feelings about at the minute because I haven't heard the album. I think at Bloodfest he's gonna play the new album in full, which will be amazing. It'll be so exciting, because whether or not it's everyone's favourite Yungblud record, if it's better than Weird, if it's better than 21st Century Liability, it doesn't really matter. It's the new album, people are excited, people will be learning it, you know, you'll be fucking pumped to hear those songs. So yeah, I think at Bloodfest he is going to play the album in full, which is fine, but I do also hope that we get a tour, because, you know, at Yungblud shows there's songs that define his concerts. So like, you couldn't imagine going to a Yungblud concert and him not playing Strawberry Lipstick or Fleabag or fucking The Funeral or whatever. And the craziest thing I think that's come out about this album so far is the fact the opening track is 9 minutes long.
The first single off the next album is 9 minutes long, and it's the best one.
That's fucking long. And so far, I think his longest songs are Freak Show and When We Die Can We Still Get High, and they're about 5 minutes. I think Freak Show might be under 5 minutes. Nearly double When We Die Can We Still Get High, and that song feels quite long. And this was the bit that I read that sort of confused me a bit, where he said, the musician's latest single, Breakdown, which arrived in June, is expected to be part of the upcoming album, which is fine. The Britpop flavours on Breakdown were first hinted in the NME's interview with Yungblud back in March. Now, there is a slight Britpop element with the Don't Put Your Feet in the Grass verse. That's very Britpop. But I'd say you've just had a massive single in Low Life. I'd say that is way more Britpop inspired than Breakdown. That was the bit that confused me a little bit. And also, the thing that I like is he said that the album's been made in the north of England, which is just going back to his roots a bit. And as much as Self-Titled was a successful album and pushed him out there more, it was, you know, it was made in America. It felt very safe and very corporate, because you think he's got this massive rock star energy and aesthetic, and almost a promise with everything that he drops of like, oh, it's fucking rock and roll. Then you get songs like The Funeral and Tissues and Memories, and this is literally going in order, and it's not rock and roll, it's, you know, it's got rock energy. I'd say The Funeral is a rock song, but it's a lot more reliant on the pop side of things, whereas the music that he's been putting out lately, Happier aside, it's a lot more genre defying. So like Happier is, I'd say that fits very much more into the pop rock side of stuff. Like, it's a little bit heavier with, you know, like Ollie's verses, and even Dom's vocals are a lot more like aggressive on that compared to songs like The Funeral. But Low Life, very Britpop, Hated, almost like Eminem style of like early Eminem. When We Die Can We Still Get High, indie rock. Then Breakdowns, Britpop with a bit of D&B. So like there's been a massive mix, and with this album I'm expecting it to kind of be like a little bit like what Bring Me did with Next Gen. You know, when you listen to Next Gen in full and there's songs that transition into each other, and the themes change throughout. I think that's what this album will do a little bit. Dom's also said that he's 27 next, and for a character like me, it's either death or rebirth. This point up to now has been amazing. I'll never lose what it's about in terms of Yungblud and the soul of it, but musically this next album is something I've been working on for 2 years, and it's a fucking adventure. It's a full concept that you can play from start to finish. Thing that makes me a lot more confident with this album coming out, because let's be real, Yungblud, yes, he's 27, he's been in the industry for quite a while, but he is still growing. Bloodfest is a prime example, you know, he's on his 2nd year, he's still growing as an artist. Is he doing phenomenally well? Yes. When Self-Titled came out, he'd had one #1 album, which was amazing, and there was no sort of guarantee that that would do as well. Luckily, it did go #1, and people loved it, but it was just missing something. And I love Self-Titled. I've listened to that album God knows how many times, but there were just a few little things that missed the mark on, and I think musically it was just all very similar. Whereas this album, he feels confident, he's making it in the north, he's been working on it for a long time, and he doesn't seem to be holding back with putting out big statements. Like saying the term rock opera, people could say is very pretentious or optimistic. I guess we'll see how it plays out. So the 4th Yungblud album, I've got very high hopes for. Do I think it's going to be better than Weird? Possibly, but my gut instinct is no, because Weird was such a defining album for him. It's a masterpiece from start to finish. There isn't one bad song on there, and it just felt like him exploding onto the scene, like, this is me. This is what I've got to say. You either love me or you hate me. And he's found a lot of people that fucking love him. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about, something that has been leaked, is Avril Lavigne's supposed new album. Now, I say supposedly because there's always a chance that something's AI. But this, I don't think it is. I'm not going to share any of the lyrics. I am not going to put any music on there. I haven't heard this song or this album because I don't agree with listening to leaks. If something gets leaked and it's all over TikTok, then you sort of can't help it. Going out there and trying to find leaks, I just don't agree with it. But the song is supposedly called Seeing Red, featuring Yungblud, and I just want to talk about what that song could be like, because I know that quite a lot of people were a bit disappointed when I'm a Mess came out. My mate Luke, he likes Yungblud, he likes Avril Lavigne. They could have come together for a really good punk, upbeat track, and obviously we got something that's a lot more of a ballad. I love I'm a Mess. I love it a lot more now than when it came out. And I have seen the lyrics, obviously not in any particular context, but I do think we're going to get something that is a lot more of the style of I'm a Mess than Skater Boy. But I think I'm a Mess worked perfectly. It had as much as it was sad, it had the upbeat moment at the end. And the thing that I loved is, when that song came out, I was like, I think Avril's really gonna overshadow him, because when they sang I'm With You, obviously, you know, it's Avril's song that she's sung for years, and she did it amazingly, and Dom sounded beautiful on it, but she had this grand voice and proper overshadowed him. So I was like, is that going to be the case with this song? No, Dom gets the high note, if anything. I think Dom absolutely stole I'm a Mess. With this song, I'm really excited for it. I don't care what sort of genre it is. They've both got incredible voices. They're both great writers, and I think it's going to be a banger. I've got very high hopes, and I'm very optimistic for all the stuff that Yungblud is doing at the minute. But yeah, the new album, I would say, is going to be out around April, possibly May time. I think we're going to get it in full in Bloodfest, and I think it is going to be his second best album, but I have also got confidence that it might be better than Weird. But if an album's not as good as Weird, do you know what? I'm totally fine with that, because in my opinion, no album's as good as Weird. It feels good to have some Yungblud stuff to talk about, because on YouTube, I will happily be known as that guy who talks about Yungblud. You know what? I will accept that title with absolute fucking honour. Those are just my thoughts on the upcoming stuff to do with Yungblud. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of the video, and I will see you very soon in a bit.